gosh, I just set up everything again recently, so. And yeah, I didn't have my. The intro music. Start recording. And 3, 2,
see my
1.
hair everywhere.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Final Checkpoint podcast. This is episode 77, right, Ben? 77. That sounds about right.
I don't know why you're asking me.
Each week, we react to the latest video game news and talk about games we're playing. My name is Joel.
And I'm Ben.
And Ben, we have such a special episode this week. I'm so excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm very excited. Before we get to that very special thing, I want to announce something to you, but also to everybody else listening, watching. I've put a special item on our stream. There's a follower goal that I put on there. Right now, it's sitting at 115. The goal is 150. It's hard to see. You might have to squint. But I set it for an end goal of April 30th. There's a follower there trying to get us to that goal for a Drunk Souls stream. We can hit 150 followers on twitch.tv/lastcheckpoint by the end of April 30th. We will get drunk, Ben. You and I will get drunk and we will play Dark Souls, whichever Dark Souls we get to by that point.
You realize this is the morning for me, so
we'll figure it out. You'll have to take the day off or something. You have plenty of PTO, remember?
Man. Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Perfect. All right. Now, obviously, there's if you're watching the stream, there's some very special guests with us. Some great individuals here, some awesome dudes, some awesome people here that I just want to get to introducing now. So joining us on this week's show, our friends from the Gaming Morning Show, Ryan and Shawn. Yay, clap hands. Yeah. Yay. It's so weird because there's like no audience except for me and Ben, so it's kind of odd, but
who needs an audience?
Yeah. And I'm fixing a tech issue, so I'm not
clapping. Damn it, Ben. All right. Well, I'm really excited.
It's going to be for the benefit of society.
True.
The hands are busy, okay? Got stuff to do.
I got noses to pick, and I got beards to pick.
This is such an exciting, like, monumental moment because not only are you guys on the show, but Ben has his camera on, which is it's insane. So
revolutionary.
This is insane. Like, we might have to end the show after this. This might be the last Final Checkpoint episode.
Last show.
This is the finale.
We won't be able to top it.
Ryan, we broke another one.
Oh no! But yeah,
our damage run continues.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you guys on. I just got to say that I was really glad that we kind of linked up and got to know each other. I've been enjoying your guys' morning show and like getting my coffee and morning started right before I have to jump on to work and go through that misery. But as we do, main thing I really want to know. And, first, I want to have you guys kind of introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about your show, and then I kind of want to get to what started it all for you guys and what kind of brought you guys together. So why don't I let you guys do that because you're going to do it the best way.
Nice. You go ahead, Ryan. You start us off.
I was going to say, I should let you talk first because then otherwise I'll just keep going because I'm used to that. But so Shawn and I have been talking a lot about what would be our hypothetical place if we ever decided to start streaming. I'm kind of late to the streaming world. I don't think I found out Twitch really existed until, about the time Apex Legends came out, because I remember specifically all the release information about that. So you're looking at, at least a year and a half from the time that I started watching to the time that GMS had its cold run, which was probably about the middle of August, to figure out, is this going to work? Do we like the way it's going? And then finally we launched like the last day of August last year. And that discussion really centered around, what are our strengths and what are the things that we could bring to a space. And with my background in radio, I've been in radio probably 20 plus years at this point. We felt like that was the idea is to have a morning show that you got used to listening to back in the FM days when it was Z100 and they played all the hits. But instead of having music in the show, we just play games where otherwise there would be music. And And so that was the idea. And Shawn was someone who we've known each other for a long time, and he was kind of that person who was there to make the idea come to fruition, right? Because I knew for a fact that it would never just be me, because I got out of radio that was centered around one host, right? And that was the best part, is I had at least a buddy to start things off with, because of all the great ideas he had.
Well, and really the idea cemented for us and blossomed when we were just hanging out, playing like Gunfight. And we'd be sitting around playing Gunfight, just making ourselves laugh and laugh. And we look at each other at one point, we're like, this is the show. We're like, this is the show. It isn't about the gameplay. It isn't about, the latest games. It's about us hanging out, saying and doing stupid crap that make us laugh. And that's really what we've done, is we've created the show that 3 hours every morning we just hang out and do stupid stuff and make ourselves laugh.
We're hilarious, Joel. That's what we're trying to say.
It works, man. It works. You guys have built up quite a community, like, pretty quickly. Like, I mean, I tune in the mornings. You guys already have a chat going on. Everyone's already kind of like in there chatting it up, even while you guys are playing Call of Duty, stuff like that. There's banter back and forth in the chat. So I've been enjoying my mornings going in there and hanging out. So it's been pretty cool. And you guys have cool interview segments. You guys are getting some just like interviews from different parts of not only the industry, but even people that are just like in the scientific community. So it's been and journalists out there. So it's been pretty cool to watch and to see that grow. And it's what kind of got you guys interested in making a show, like in getting something like that? Was it just kind of your background in radio, Ryan, and just kind of like wanting to, like, having that feeling of like, man, I miss doing radio and I just kind of want to do something, but I don't want it to be just that. I want to get gaming involved.
I really fell in love with streaming in terms of being a consumer, on the consumer side of things. Like, I've always been a huge sports fan my whole life. And in the evenings, if I wasn't working, I would have some sort of sports game on. And I've seen since the early part of 2019 how that's kind of shifted into the streaming realm. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. One is certainly the interactivity of it, right? You start to get to feel like people on the other side of the screen. And that's unique, because while, I may be a huge Broncos fan and watch them every Sunday, like, at the end of the day, I don't really know much more about Courtland Sutton other than the fact that he's really good at catching the football, right?
Yeah.
But you start to get if nothing else, a parasocial relationship with people on the other side of the screen. And that matters. And then, Shawn's really responsible for the gaming aspect, because I've had, more retirements from gaming than a lot of those retired athletes. Like, I'm the Brett Favre of gaming, because I got done playing games by and large, when I got into high school. Just got too busy doing other things. Into college, didn't really start playing again. And then some friends of mine started playing Call of Duty. So I did buy a PS3, but that only lasted for a handful of years. And I was completely out again for several years. And Shawn was super kind and got me a PS4 one holiday. And it was because we had been spending a good amount of time together playing games at his place. And it was a way for him to try to make it so that we could play more often. And so, you're looking at the person, we say this all the time, #VideoGameExpert. Like, Shawn really does have much more of a legacy with gaming. So that was kind of neat, because I was here sitting on the Twitch side watching other people stream. And I was kind of falling in love with the personalities. And then Shawn is just, by and large, your expert gaming. And Shawn agrees with this, I'm sure. Like, we also have this nice curious streak in us where it's fun to bring people onto the show and get to see what they're excited about.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, and for those that don't know, Ryan and I are brothers-in-law. Our wives are sisters. And so we go back. He likes to take credit for hooking me and my now wife up.
I did.
So we go way back, and I reintroduced him to zombies on Call of Duty, and we were playing zombies, and I'm like, yeah, But not only can we play zombies, but there's this thing called an Easter egg, and we need to look at guides and watch videos on how to do this Easter egg. And so we were spending night after night and staying up till 2-3 in the morning doing these zombie runs. And at one point my wife was like, you guys got to stop staying up so late. I'm like, yeah, but when we finally get a chance to play, like, we're gonna play until we can't play anymore. And she's like, what if he had a PlayStation 4? And that's how it all started. And she's like, why don't we all pitch in and get him a PlayStation 4, and then you guys can play more regularly for more reasonable amounts of time. And our play together just took off from there.
So actually, I take all the credit I give back. Shawn actually apparently goes to his wife. So there you go.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Which turns around, and since you are the reason we got together, you bought yourself a PlayStation 4.
I think I kind of got the better end of that deal.
That was the end goal. He actually thought, how do I get a new PlayStation?
Right. A long time.
Inception.
Yeah. It was like one of those unfolding criminal episodes, right? And at the end, you get all the flashbacks of all the
Now I
moments
know what's
where
behind that curtain you're hiding there. It's the
Just
plan.
wait till I get that PS5 payoff. It was a really long game plan.
Does it involve us? I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get one. Come on.
Well, that's the thing, Ben. I didn't lose sight of you two either. Like I the whole time we didn't know each other. And that's kind of crazy, but the long-term planning's always been my strength.
Oh, I'm curious, Shawn. Are you a doctor like of medicine or a pharmacist or veterinarian?
Yeah, so by profession I'm a chiropractor. Is my medical degree is a doctor of chiropractic. And with that, I also have a master's in sports and exercise science. I'm a certified chiropractic sports physician. I am a certified strength and conditioning specialist. So chiropractor by trade, but I work a lot with athletes. Also, hence the sports doc gaming.
Okay. I was about to start asking you about this growth.
Yeah,
but okay, that's what I wanted to.
Just your face.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my background. Is I'm a chiropractor, and I practice a pretty general chiropractic practice. So I see a lot of office workers and people who are just hard on their bodies. But then I also, part of my practice is working with athletes specifically and training them, getting them stronger and healthier so they can go on and do amazing things.
Ah, yes. I bet. I wonder if with the pandemic and a lot of people working at home, not being able to go out and do much, has your business kind of seen an uptick all of a sudden for people with back problems?
Yeah, we've stayed really busy, and it's hard to say if it's really an uptick. But I think because of the way people are working right now, we've definitely had more sustained growth than we would have otherwise, and we're seeing it so much in people that usually wouldn't have issues. They know what to do, and in their offices they have the sit-stand desks, and they get up and walk around and they stretch and do these things, and now they're working at home and working on a laptop on their couch. So we are seeing a lot more of that sort of issue that we may not have seen otherwise.
Yeah, I had to invest in a really good chair because I used to work at a place where I had a standing desk, and now I just sit. It sucks.
And now you just sit, and everyone's in the same situation. But
yeah, but at least we're working, so that's not too bad.
Yep.
Cool. All right. And you guys are big Kind of Funny fans?
I am. I've definitely shared quite a bit with Ryan, but I go back to Podcast Beyond days and followed them from IGN to Kind of Funny, and it's definitely my go-to. Like, if I get busy and my list of podcasts dwindled down, Kind of Funny is always the last one there. I really enjoy the personalities there, and the community they've been growing is very inspirational, especially starting out trying to build a community that's positive and tight knit. They're definitely a model that I follow, that kind of bleeds into GMS.
Yeah. Ben was on Kind of Funny Games once, and then that's where I got his picture from. So the one that
that's my picture. Yeah. The one picture of me.
The one picture of Ben.
I was gonna wear I have the pink Kind of Funny shirt they did to raise funds for cancer charity.
Oh yeah. I'm wearing my Cool Greg shirt. I just realized
it was dirty, so I didn't wear it.
I got the aerobics one. The Kind of Funny aerobics championship.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, for everyone that wants to follow, make sure you follow. Not everyone that wants to. You guys should all go follow
Oh,
at WatchGMS, at Hefty Goof,
If you
and
want
at
to.
Sports Gaming Doc. Make sure you guys follow. Make sure you watch. Grab a coffee. Ben, that's gonna be you probably leaving work, so grab a beer.
I'll be home. Grab a beer. You just want me to drink.
We need.
You do the overnights?
Yeah,
Yeah, I work overnight. Yeah,
he's a
That's
vampire.
rough.
How is that?
it's all right. It's fine. It's weird. It makes scheduling things very weird.
I have to imagine that, like, so this is another thing that works well with Sean and me is he's very much the night person, and I'm very much the morning person. So before the show, I'm sometimes up a couple of hours before we're even on the air, and that's always been intriguing to me. Is like if I ever had to do like the graveyard shift, right? Would I just sporadically fall asleep at like 2 a.m? So be like, what happened to Ryan? I'd probably be like doing the bathroom break thing, right? And someone would find me in the stall or something, just propped up against the
Slumped
side, and
over.
be like, "Oh, Ryan, you have to kind of get back to work."
Yeah, how long have you been asleep in here?
Well, and that's one of the things that I'm really proud of myself is I can almost sleep anywhere. I finally found like the limitation on the train going from Oregon to Montana. There's an observation car, and I was trying to sleep on the floor of it because the seats are not comfortable enough
Oh
to
my
sleep
gosh.
on. And I was on the floor of it, and I woke up the next morning. I was like, "Yep, that's the limit. I found it. It's the observation car of an Amtrak. Not going to do that one again."
Ugh. Yeah, no, my sleep schedule's entirely flipped over. So I sleep during the day.
Yeah, it's tough, and people generally don't get it, right? Because my wife prefers knock shift. She's a nurse and she prefers knock shift. And part of that is because when the kids are in school, which they're not right now, but when the kids are in school, if she works 7 p.m., she gets home at 7:30 a.m. or so. She gets the kids off to school. She sleeps. She wakes up and picks them up from school. So that system actually works pretty well because then she gets to see them a little bit before and after school. And we've found that when you tell people you work nights, they just don't, like, it breaks their brain. They just don't get it. They're like, but I want to hang out. when do we hang out? They're like, it's your weekend now. You can just sleep a normal schedule. You're like, sure, but that's gonna just go with my work next week.
Yeah, that'll
Like,
break my sleep schedule.
it's not an on and off switch.
No,
Yeah.
no, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that. I can barely
been like
function with a
6
normal
months.
sleep schedule.
No.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it. I like being a vampire. That's what I tell people.
Yeah.
It's
He's
it's
used to
not
living like
that you have the wrong sleep schedule. You just live in the wrong time zone. That's all. You're like in the
that's
UK.
what I'll tell people. I'm on Europe. Yeah. That
You're ready to
DMT.
travel, actually. You're ready to travel internationally now.
That's a
You're-
good idea.
You're proactively jet lagging.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're prepped.
It's the long con planning from earlier. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just getting ready.
That's why you're in on this.
uh-huh.
the
Get
whole
my
time.
PS5 going. Come on.
Just wait till we reveal this. It's going to be amazing.
Phase 4 of the plan.
What a twist.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to Ben, topic of the show. Why don't you let us know what the topic of the show is this week?
Topic is, of course, the gigantic 55-minute, maybe it's just 50-minute Nintendo Direct, the first one in a year and a half. I forget the number, if it was like 500 days or
Something days.
yeah, it was a lot, like 530 days. There's a lot to unpack from this, and there's a lot of hurt feelings, I guess I'd describe it as, from the internet
Bunch of
and
crybabies.
myself at large. I don't know why I get excited about these things anymore. It's really my fault. And I think I would like to shout out Nintendo Voice Chat this week. Had a really great discussion on this, and I think they summed up everything I feel about it very, very, very well. This Direct was not advertised well, and when you're coming off a year and a half drought of not having one, and this is what you have to show, you really shouldn't have said it was 50 minutes. This should have just appeared, should have been
Yep.
split up. It should have been edited better. We don't need the EA Sports, hey, we paid you $10,000, put our stupid dodgeball game in it, because that's obviously what that was. We don't need that. That can be broken up. It kind of also begs the question of why a lot of the announcements last year weren't direct, because if we had gotten little direct with Paper Mario and Pikmin 3 in them, we wouldn't have had this thirst for a giant direct, and it wouldn't have been this roller coaster of nonsense. I did have a whole spiel of like things they could have done, but that might be the next 45 minutes. So maybe we can just take a few awesome things. I know Joel and I, we're really excited for Mario Golf, which has been a long time coming. I know people are complaining about, like, why are people excited for Mario Golf? We haven't had a console Mario Golf since the GameCube.
Mhm.
So that's why also.
Yep.
And the other one was on 3DS, and I think I reviewed it 8 years ago.
Oh my
Been
god.
it was like the only time I got a
Oh
Nintendo
my God.
game to review. So it's been a long time. I'm super excited for it. And again, that goes back to the point of package this smaller, have that
Mhm.
be a third or a quarter, a fifth of the direct, and not have all these little nonsense things. It's more exciting. And when the big thing of your direct is Mario Golf, maybe don't make that the big thing of the direct. How do you guys feel about Mario Golf or the direct in general? Because there's a few topics I think we should go over.
This could have been 2 stellar, smaller directs
Mhm.
and a few tweets. And I think everyone would have been perfectly fine with that. You can't go over 500 days and then build up this direct and come out with this. This was a direct from Nintendo 5 years ago where they're launching things on 2 different systems. This is
Mhm.
not this doesn't feel like a Nintendo Switch era direct. This is old Nintendo with a bunch of small stuff and a couple big things. And that's fine, but they went a year and a half with no major direct and came out with this. Save, if you're going to be gone that long, build it up, come out with a direct, later this year where you're showing off the next major Zelda game and you're showing off Metroid and you have all these big things that people are looking for. Don't wait a year and a half and then launch with, Splatoon 3.
Yeah, well,
Like,
Splatoon is actually Splatoon 3, whatever it is. It's very big, but yeah, there's another problem too, is that it's the 35th anniversary of Zelda, I think yesterday, and so you announce a direct 4 days before it. I don't know. Should you talk about that? Maybe you should bring that up. It seems
But-
like it's
but
time.
hey, they reminded you that they're aware they're working on Breath of the Wild 2.
Thank
They're
you.
like,
I was
hey guys,
aware.
we haven't forgot about Breath of the Wild 2. We're not gonna talk about that. Skyward
hate it.
Sword, though.
What's your opinion on Skyward Sword?
I'm actually excited to play it. I never
Okay.
played it.
Me too.
I will probably get it and play it. I'm a little disappointed. I like that they gave you options, so you don't have to use the motion controls.
Yeah.
But then they go into the detail about what the optional controls are. I'm like, I don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to push a button and swing a sword. I don't want to play with the stick like that. So I'll probably end up trying it with motion controls.
That was actually the working title, was just push a button, swing a sword.
Mhm.
Push a button, swing a sword.
Never
Had to
got to
shorten it.
market, but they were working on it.
Miyamoto was like, no, that's not gonna do. You gotta.
I don't know how how it's gonna
So
work for me with all my Joy-Cons drifting to try to get up with my shield. And
Well, the
my
motion will
sword.
work. The
Yeah.
motion's fine.
That was their long ploys. They're like, let's just create
Oh,
a
yeah.
joystick drift issue. You'll have to use the motion controls,
It's
and then we'll be
all been
justified. You're
leading-
like, see, we told you they were amazing.
It's all been leading up to this.
Uh-huh.
And Ryan
want
got a
my money.
PlayStation 5. It all worked out.
Wow. I played Skyward
Spoilers.
Sword back on the Wii. I think Skyward Sword is the worst 3D Zelda by like a mile. It's good though. I mean, saying it's the worst Zelda is kind of like saying it's the worst pizza you've ever had. Like, it's still pretty good. It's still fine.
Still
Zelda.
Yeah, it's still Zelda, and the motion controls actually work pretty well on the Wii, except for the sword fighting. Ironically, I had a lot of trouble with that, but everything else was great. So I think with the better tech and the Joy-Cons, that's fine. I'm fine with the $60 price point. This is a 10-year-old game. It's a little bit upgraded.
Mhm.
Whatever. It's not like it was 2 years ago. Control Ultimate Edition comes out again. Now it's $60. Like, it's not like that.
Mhm.
It does suck, but what do you expect? All their games are $60 in perpetuity.
That's the Nintendo way. They're not going to change from that.
Yeah, that's true.
We're gonna buy it anyway, so that why would they change?
Well, when people, and this is definitely changed in the Switch, but when people buy their systems and only buy Nintendo games, then they
Mhm.
know you're going to pay $60 for it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, when I watched the direct, I kind of like zoned out on a lot of the announcements and just kind
Oh
of
my God,
mainly
yeah.
paid attention to a few that I was excited for. Like, I'm obviously excited for Mario Golf, and then I just kind of zoned out for a lot of the other items.
And I'm excited. I think golf is going to be fun.
Yeah.
My worry, we were all burned with Mario Tennis and its single player mode, but I'm hoping they learned some stuff from that, and the Mario Golf's single player mode will be improved because of it.
Will it be on the Virtual Boy?
Oh man, that'd be cool.
Whenever I hear Mario Tennis, all I can think of is Virtual Boy.
Just
all
think
the
about
time, every single time.
I got Labo collecting dust in one of my
Yeah, you get Labo VR.
Labo VR.
Play Mario Golf like that.
Yeah, there we go.
Joel, I tell you though, Shawn, one of the reintroductions was this ability to watch all these releases, right? I watched the Game Awards for the first time. Like, I'm watching a whole bunch of stuff I used to never watch, right?
Yeah.
But I have the attention span of a squirrel. And so that's really hard unless I'm hanging around or we're doing it as part of the show to stay focused in. So it's actually a relief to hear that there's some zoning out in your world too.
Oh yeah, constantly. I have the worst attention span. It's awful.
Well, it's
really
pretty easy to get distracted when the direct is like, "Hey, here's this game you've never heard of and no one cares about." All right,
Yeah.
I'm sure someone's happy.
I was gonna say that's the thing. So someone does, right?
Oh, sure.
Or otherwise
Yep,
it would
yep.
never be out there. And honestly, like one of my favorite things that I found too with doing the show is indie games too, because we've had some fantastic interviews around indie games.
Yeah.
And some of the best shows that I watch really have a heavy focus on indie games. And I only bring that up because that's one thing that's super fascinating about the gaming world to me. Shawn, I already talked about like how into video games he has been his whole life and still is. Like, I think every game that we talk about a lot of times on the show, Shawn will be like, yeah, I kind of want to play that one too. And I'm like, how many more can you add before you're ever going to get to it?
I must play
Well,
all of them.
our friend Mike O, who does the show with us now pretty much routinely, he's been on for at least 2 months or so. Same kind of thing. Like he found a streamer and is all of a sudden now playing Stardew Valley, right? And
I love Stardew
there's
Valley.
just there's just this list of things. What is it? Craft the World. Shawn is the other one that
Yeah, I was
Mike's
watching him
playing.
play that the other day. Yeah.
And so I bring that up though because you're talking about what I guess I really like about the video game world is the curiosity into why people are super interested. Because you're going to go through this list, Ben, of games or thoughts that you have like from the direct, and I'm going to be like, you know what? I don't have too much background on it, right? But what I'm excited about is hearing people's excitement that comes out from certain games, and then to hear that discussion around why you're really excited for it, and someone else can in the same breath be like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to play that at all.
Yeah.
Right? It's a really neat thing. And so yeah, someone's going to play those games that maybe you zoned out over while you're still excited about that. I will say one other thing too. You mentioned, what did you say? Mario Golf was 8 years.
I think since the 3DS, I was like 2013-ish.
Been a while.
I tell you what, my primary games I used to play as a kid were sports games, and then I played a lot of Mortal Kombat. And with the former, like you get a new game every year with a Madden franchise, right? And that's also sometimes to the detriment because now it sounds like that gets worse and worse every year. But it's like, what did they actually change? To have to wait that long for something that you really enjoyed and to know that it's not going to show up in a while, like that's got to be painful, right? To be waiting that long for something.
They're just they're like just a very specific type of golf game, which I really like. Like everybody's golf is kind of in that same
It's close, yeah.
I guess like sentiment, I guess, of type of game. Like they're just fun golf games where like you go play like Tiger Woods or PGA Golf Tour. Like it's just very serious and simulation. Where this makes it fun. Like I love NBA 2K. Like I play that every year. But if they came out with like NBA Street, I'd be all over that. Because it's just a very different type of game. And kind of like you, like I lost touch with Nintendo for a long time. I skipped, like I went from the beginning of N64 all the way through till the Switch, basically, is when I jumped back onto Nintendo. And so I have a whole gap of just like games that I missed out on. And so I've been kind of like Skyward Sword. I want to play it because I have never played it before. I missed out on Majora's Mask and what's the other one, Ben? The one everybody thinks is really great, but when I played it, I was like, this thing sucks, dude.
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time. I'm like, there's nothing here. Everything's so empty. Ben shakes his head because he's disappointed in me.
It's
But
fine. It's 20 years old.
It was
It's
great back
aged.
then, but I tried playing it on like the 3DS, and I'm like, I can't take this. But I'm not a big fan of like the 3D Zelda games. I'm more of a 2D Zelda fan, so it's just what I am. But I'm willing to try Skyward Sword. I'm like, you know what? If they try to modernize a little bit, I'll give it a shot. Why not?
I wrote an article for the Game Fanatics on February 8th, 2012.
Oh God.
A rant about Skyward Sword. So I've been upset about this game for a long time. And it's a long article, let me tell you.
Is
Well,
this like
it's
your-
it's such an
paragraphs.
interesting choice for Nintendo because they come out with Breath of the Wild and just wow everyone,
Yeah.
and then then they're like, well, let's remake the one that pissed everyone off before we
Yeah.
go back to the Breath of the Wild too. Like, it's just so
I get it.
Nintendo.
I think they were clearly doing a Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, Skyward Sword HD. It's kind of a trilogy, like the post N64 3D Zelda trilogy. But Skyward Sword, man, like I'm still
Solid.
upset that IGN gave it a 10. I still don't understand, and it hurts. It hurts my brain. I still don't think Breath of the Wild's a 10 either. So I'm just real picky, I guess. This is the answer to this.
that game is beautiful to me, though, for what it's worth. I remember saying that on a stream I was watching, and somebody fired back with like, it's just on the Switch, meaning I think that like it's not capable of being, hugely a graphical masterpiece. But I'm just sitting here back watching this game, going like, I think this game is absolutely beautiful, and it was super entertaining for me. But I always
Mhm.
wonder how that reaction is different than somebody who's consumed and invested in the gameplay, right?
Mhm.
I'm just sitting here back and watching and having a great time because it's visually stimulating for me, and then to see someone else have a good time doing it like that, that's the big deal to me. That's a lot of what I have done with Shawn in the past, is like watch Shawn play games that Shawn's super excited about, and that's more fun for me than playing it, which also I think is an interesting topic around video games in general too.
Yeah.
There's these games that people like get
Right.
excited to see played, almost like they're a piece of television or something like that.
That's like me
It's
with
interesting.
Among Us. Like I'd rather watch someone play Among Us than actually play it because I'm just not good at it. I get too like anxious playing it, and I can't do it. I'd rather watch people play Among Us than actually play it. But
So play Among
Yeah.
Us with Joel. Okay, got it.
I mean, I'll
Right.
play it, but like I just get too nervous. I'm a bad liar too, which is even worse. Just if I'm ever imposter, I'm just like, just fucking vote me out, please.
That's what I was
Just
gonna
do
say.
it.
Yeah, we
Just
could
kick
play
me
with
out
you.
of
It'd be
here.
an easy win, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's how I am with like twin stick games like Enter the Gungeon and
Oh yeah.
Binding of Isaac. I'm terrible at those games, but I can watch someone just go run after run in those games and just be entertained for hours. And I think it's even more so because I'm not good at them. Like I'm gonna see you do things that there's no way I'm gonna be able to do.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're,
I need to stop rocking this. I'm gonna knock my webcam over. I just realized I looked over and it's like
There's just a constant earthquake in your house, Ben.
it's fine. Close to some fault line. All right, well, we want to go through some of these news items. There's a Smash character, which I actually think looks cool. I forget her name, and she's got like a split personality or something.
What is
I
it?
don't remember.
Pyra?
It-
Pyra?
Yeah.
Is that her
Pyra
name?
and
Pyra and
Mithra.
Mithra.
They're not from Fire Emblem, so they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's Xenoblade
That's
Chronicles.
another not as exciting thing when you launch with a 3 to 4 minute trailer for Xenoblade 2. Oh, it's the Smash. I wouldn't have been excited about DLC for that game or the Smash character, but okay.
But more sword characters is what everybody
It looks
kind of
fun.
got mad
Looks like a
about.
fun character though, so I will play that. I don't know. It's so easy to be disappointed. We got. I've just put up a few highlights. Animal Crossing Mario stuff is coming out. I think this coming week. It would have been nice if they, I don't know, improved 90% of the rest of the game with like user experience things. But sure. Now you can teleport via warp pipes. That's cute. I like.
I'm
that.
not going back in, Ben. I'm not going back in. I've given that
I
game too
might.
many hours. I've put almost 300 hours into Animal Crossing. I'm not going back in. It's taking too much.
Yeah,
from me.
being a Nintendo fan is.
I
a
feel
bit,
Nintendo'd.
You've been Nintendo'd.
You've been Nintendo. That's us.
Print the shirts.
it's
Nintendo.
just this like battered wife syndrome of
God,
like you're
Ben.
so beaten down and you just keep coming back to get beat down again by Nintendo. It really sucks. Get out of bad relationships. Also, we
Reggie.
got Project Triangle Strategy,
That name though.
which is egregious.
Now,
But
is it as bad as Project Octopath Traveler?
That's better. That's better.
Nah.
Somehow, that's better. Triangle Strategy is upsetting, but
This-
it looks exciting. I have not played it yet. There's a demo available now.
I did start
looks
it.
like what?
I started the demo.
Oh, okay.
It's a game that I know I would love if I had the time for it. But it's going to be that thing, and the one thing I'm afraid of is with Octopath Traveler is if it had everything I wanted except the characters weren't like, I don't know, there was something missing. The characters were great, the story was for the most part becoming like cool, and I was like, oh man, are these characters going to really like interact and intertwine and they're going to get on this grand adventure, but it just didn't seem like it was heading there, and it just made me not interested. Everything else about the game was really great. The visuals, the combat, and it really let me down, so I stopped playing it. And I was like, I'm done. Can't do this. And this game, so far, it's like a mix of Final Fantasy Tactics and like Octopath Traveler, I guess, in a way. I really like it so far, just the feeling of it, but I already know I'm not gonna have the time for this game. I already know it.
Right.
Yep.
So
I feel that.
but if you like RPGs, turn-based combat, stuff like that, I think it's totally worth checking out the demo. And we're not going to see this game till 2 years from now, probably. Maybe a year.
At
They
least a
don't delay
year,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, they just said flat 2022.
Yeah. I'd like to see it come out then. Yeah, right.
I'd like to see it change its name. And I'd also like to play it not on the Switch, but that's a separate conversation.
Well, Octopath Traveler came out on PC eventually, so
exactly, that's
that
why
could
I'm
happen.
waiting. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I'll wait. I have my notes. Breath of the Wild 2 info coming this year. Don't even bring it up. Why'd you even say it? Why'd you?
Why'd they even say it? They just wanted to Nintendo us.
I think they knew if they said nothing,
Oh yeah.
the conversation's going to be entirely, where's Breath of the Wild 2? It's 35th anniversary of Zelda. Why do we not have anything? So to come out and at least be like, hey, we're working on this, more information later. I get it, because people are still annoyed, because it's like, why even say, just don't say anything if you're not gonna give us anything.
Yeah.
But I think they would rather have that conversation than what's going on.
Right.
Is this still on track? Are you gonna Metroid Prime us and reset development? We're back 5 more years. Like, what's going on? So I think they were just trying to nip that in the bud.
Instead of saying, hey, there's no news, they should have said, we're going to have a Zelda Direct later about the anniversary. They didn't even mention it, which is suspect given it was 4 days later. It's like the year of Mario's anniversary, which just ended, but that's the wrong year. So, okay, whatever, guys. And the final bit of news was a little bit mentioned earlier, Splatoon 3. I can't say Splatoon ever.
That sounded exactly like when your internet lags out. It just has that sound. That's amazing.
3.
Are you getting royalties for being that sound?
Yeah, right. Every time you lag out, I get like 2 pennies. That's
It's better than
2022.
Spotify. So
Right. I've never played a Splatoon game. I played demos, and then I'm like, oh, neat.
I messed around with the first Splatoon game on my other brother-in-law's system a long time ago, and
wasn't mine.
it was fine. It was not something I wanted then. It is not really something I want now. But I know there are fans out there. There are people that are going to get really into this, and it'll be great. There were also a couple of small things in the direct. Metopia and the
I hate it.
Yep. And the DC superhero girls, both of those, I watched them and I'm like,
that looked okay.
My kids are gonna like this.
I saw DC superhero girls, and
I'm not gonna touch either of them.
I thought about my daughter, and I was like, you know what? I bet she'd be interested in that probably.
Yep. Which is great. They got Switch Lights for Christmas this year. Like,
yeah, my kids,
especially the DC superhero girls, they're gonna eat that up. So.
Yeah, I always think about what games to get them on their Switch, because the then I can borrow like the games that we got them for Christmas, like Yoshi's, what is it, Crafted World and Luigi's Mansion 2, because I'm like, well, they need something new to play, so I can borrow those. That'd be great.
Have you gotten into that point where you're buying games kind of for you?
I'm always doing that. You should see my Steam library.
It's like where you buy the gift for somebody else, but it was really kind of for you.
Well, when we were looking at Christmas presents, my wife's like, "Well, what do you think about these games?" I'm like, "I don't know if I want to play those after."
That's gonna be a waste. Let's not get that.
Yeah, let's not
Well,
get those.
I like it.
Yeah,
I'm just
but
worried
will
about
I
the
play it?
replayability, hun. Okay, I
Yeah.
don't know if they're gonna want to replay it. I don't know if I'm gonna want to replay it. I don't know if they're gonna want to.
We bought some other random games for the Switches, just like to see, like, oh, let's buy a couple extra games just to have, so when they get done with the other games, they can play these. And one of them was like a Goosebumps themed, like based off the movie, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That's gonna be a shitty game. And her and I played it together, and it was actually not bad, but at the same time, I was like, this is kind of stupid. But she wanted to play it, so I was like, I couldn't say no. But the things you do, for your wives.
Yeah. So my kids have been like super obsessed with Pokemon, and so
Pokemon.
they really wanted. They got their Switches. They really wanted. One of them wanted Sword, and one of them wanted Shield. So we got them for them. And I've never gotten into Pokemon. I've never played a full Pokemon game, and so they get them, and they're starting out. And I was like, if you guys have any issues or questions, I'm out. we have to FaceTime other brother-in-law because he's the one who's played Pokemon. Like, I can't help you. And now they're about done, and I'm like, do I try out Pokemon Sword or Shield?
Yeah.
Is this about to happen?
I don't know how you've changed your tune.
You should. You know why? Because those are a little more like simplified in a way to where a lot of the I guess what is it? Life. I don't know what is
Quality of life.
quality of life items are just built into it,
Nice.
and it's not bad. I mean, plus there's like a whole lot of just new Pokemon in there. They're actually pretty cool. I like.
And when I
it.
need
It's
help,
just all
I can
the
just ask
extra
my
stuff.
kids.
Yeah, that's true.
don't
They could help you out
bonding.
big time.
I don't think this is gonna work because we see each other too much, and so your kids know me too well. But you should have them call me for Pokemon help. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, if you need help, just call Uncle Ryan. Okay, yeah, they get on the phone. They'll be like, "Hey, can you help me with this?" And I'm like, "Absolutely."
You
Just
start
telling
reading
you
off
things
Broncos
that-
facts.
You just make stuff up off the top of your head.
Absolutely, that'd be fun. We should try that at time.
Next, what's next on your?
That's
news?
it. That's the Nintendo Endo Directo. It's over.
Like, was there anything that made you happy, Ben?
Mario.
In life in general, or just from this direct?
No.
I mean, I don't know how long your podcast runs, but yeah, from the direct.
Mario Golf. I love Mario Golf. I cannot wait to play that. You could have just put that out in a tweet. I would have been way more happy about this. Yeah, that's every
Monster
single
Hunter
direct.
Rise.
I want Mario Golf. Where's Mario Golf?
And this
I
is
love-
the perfect lead-in. They announce it in February. It's out June 15th. It's in June, right?
June 25th.
25th.
25th. Yeah.
Few months to get excited about it. We'll get some more information as we lead up. This is perfect. I think it'll be a blast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited
That's
for it. Monster Hunter Rise looks good. I know Ben's wanting that on PC, so he'll probably.
It leaked said it was coming to PC, so I'll wait.
Oh, that's true. Was it the Capcom leak from a while
The
ago?
Capcom.
Yeah.
It was hack. I guess it's not a leak.
Oh yeah, the leak.
Well, if you hack it and then leak it,
It's a eek.
either way, it's coming to PC, so I'm buying it there. The end result is the same. All
holding
roads
out till
lead to
then.
PC.
It looks fun though. I mean, Monster Hunter is always fun.
Oh yeah, it looks great.
Cool. Let's move on to the next couple items, and then we can move into games we played.
Cool. Final bit of news was BlizzConline this weekend. That's what they
That's
called it.
Weird.
That was
to
really
say.
cute. Main things for me are Diablo 2 remastered, and Diablo 4. Diablo 2 is probably in my top 3 favorite games of all time. I love that game. Seeing it remastered, it looks great. It has controller support now, since I'm pretty sure Diablo 2 is what messed up my wrist playing that game too much 20 years ago. I
It's
can
back
point
for
back to
more,
that.
Ben.
I can point to that and like Game Boy Advance emulators as to why my hand is messed up and I can't use keyboard and mouse for very long to play games. It looks so good, and I'm trying not to watch it and see anything about it because I will play those games forever. I'm so excited about that. And they look incredible. Diablo 4 looks exactly like what I wanted Diablo 3 to be, aesthetically and gameplay wise. I'm so excited, so excited. I know this is me just waking up, so I'm not like super happy and bouncing around, but I am very, very, very excited, and I will look at no other trailers. You can sign up for a pre-alpha beta test for Diablo 2 right now if you go onto the site and opt into that. So definitely did that. Very, 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 very,
And
very.
you said you're not looking at any other trailers?
I'm not looking. I skimmed the gameplay for it just to see like, oh, they changed some stuff. The UI is different. You can have multiple skills equipped at a time. They still have the potion belt. The potion belt was ridiculous. You could get like 16 potions equipped. It's bonkers. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna watch.
I feel like that's dangerous territory because that's something on GMS that like Mike, Sean, and I would try to find ways to like make you see a trailer. You
I'm
know,
not gonna be mad. The trailer.
Just goes around the corner and there's a big billboard and all of a sudden it's showing a trailer. How'd that get there? GMS logo. Damn.
It's like I didn't watch trailers for Bowser's Fury because I knew I was gonna play it. Like I don't need to watch this. I'm just gonna play it. It's like that.
Right.
If I saw it, I don't really care. But
Yeah. You already got me. Here's my money.
yeah,
Let me
I know.
just play the game. I want to see everything fresh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question about remastered games then. Because
Sure.
you said you're super excited, right?
Yes.
I find it hard enough to get through a game in the first place. And then, Sean tells me about like completionists and going all the way through and platinuming and all these things, right? What is it about like a remastered game? Is it because it's more vivid? Describe what it is about that opportunity to play a game that's been remastered.
In some instances, for me, it is very difficult to even play the original version. Whether that's a PS1 game, in the case of like Metal Gear Solid 1, I want that remastered because it's going back 25 years is a little tough at this point. In the case of Diablo 2, you can still play it on PC. It's there on the Blizzard .NET launcher next to WoW and everything. You can do that. To me, that game, it did need some quality of life improvements. This is a game that came out before a modern MMO. I think maybe EverQuest 1 was out around that time, and this is before like Heroes of the Storm, or not Heroes of the Storm, Dota. Things that took the Diablo kind of style and ran with it in the last 20 years. And we can inject some of those improvements. So I talked about having more than one skill equipped at a time. You could only have your attack and a skill. And
my
that's
gosh.
cool and that's great
Yeah, I
in the
forgot
year
about that.
2000. But now, 20 years later, it's like I have 30 skills. I need to be using these skills. I want that. And so for me, I want those little improvements to the formula. Don't change it. I'm trying to think what was like Demon Souls has some quality of life things. I haven't played it yet, so I don't have the PS5 from the grand scheme. That's yet
Not
to
yet.
pay off. But yeah, it's that and
Hasn't
the
paid off
visuals.
yet.
It's tough to go back to certain art styles, especially one like this. I think it originally ran in like below 480p. Or maybe it was 480, but yeah, it's like a very low resolution, and you look at it now, and it's
like it too. Yeah, when you watch people play it, like I don't think I'd be able to play the original version of that because it looks almost like claymation sometimes.
it looks like it's melting pixels, like it's kind of warp around.
Yeah.
And so I have nostalgia for that since I played hundreds of hours of it as a kid.
Mhm.
But if you don't, this is a way to get people who have never played it to play a classic game and play it in a more modern way. That's what I like about this one in particular. It's also one of the best games ever made, and it's one of those things, going back to it, like I mentioned, the entire MOBA genre owes itself to Diablo 2 and Warcraft 3, because Warcraft 3 mod was Dota. And this is it. Like, this is the genesis of it. And I think that's really cool as a gaming history to go back and see that.
And I think some remakes too, like even in this case, it is accessible. And there are some people out there that want to play it and have no problem going back to the old visuals and old gameplay. And they're like, I want to replay that, but it's an old game, and you never get back there, and you never get back there, and it just keeps
Right.
getting pushed down your list. And then a remaster comes out, you're like, finally, this is the reason, because now it's old, but it's new. So now I can justify bumping that up on the list of games I'm trying to play and get to it.
Exactly. And it's on new platforms too. Like this was a PC only game. Now it's going to be on ostensibly everything. So that's another reason why. Get more people in. Play Diablo 2, please. Please. It doesn't need any help because it's like Diablo 2, but you know. Very excited.
Yeah.
We also got a bunch of stuff for Overwatch 2, which I think is interesting. They did an extensive breakdown of kind of the PvE campaign missions and things. That's another game where I'm not watching it very attentively because I will play that. I think Overwatch is a great game.
We played some
Blizzard
last night.
has some of the best UI, UX designers out there. Everything is just this silky, buttery, smooth. It's like a Mario Nintendo game. Like it just everything fits perfectly. It's so cool. And it's a testament to that game that I played so little of that I know half the characters' names. And I love the gameplay of it. I think I missed the boat on Overwatch 1, so Overwatch 2 I'm excited to, get my little ferry ticket, and my little suitcase and go on the boat.
What are you going on a booze cruise with that little dance?
I'm going on the boat. What? Freaking
What's
lush
in
over
that
here.
suitcase, Ben?
Yeah. Your bags of flour.
I don't think I've had alcohol this year.
That's sad.
So
well, it's
I don't drink. Joel's trying to get me drunk all the time, apparently.
I need
Joel,
to
the
start
influence.
drinking. I usually only drink during hot weather, but
What if instead of the drunk Dark Souls thing, I just get high? Can I do that instead?
Jesus, no.
I have to buy pot. It's legal in Arizona. I have to buy it.
All right.
But that's more fun for
I'm
me.
also excited about Overwatch 2.
I'm not gonna get drunk once I wake up.
Well, maybe I'll just drink, and because you're supposed to guide me through the game anyways.
Perfect.
It doesn't take much for me to get drunk anyways.
You two have a symbiotic relationship. I'm proud of you.
What if instead of getting drunk, Ben, you pull an all-nighter so you're sleep drunk?
Oh.
I don't want to do that either. No. I'd rather get drunk. I'll just get drunk. I love sleep.
We were playing Apex Legends last night, and we were getting our asses handed to us, and we decided, you know what, let's play Overwatch. And so we downloaded it and started playing last night. And yeah, that game, came out, what, 2015, 2014?
15. No, it wasn't 14 because I was doing my YouTube stuff, so 15, I think.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, it still runs and looks really, really good. It was just fun to play. I mean, that game, it's always fun. I mean, it's not one that like I favor over other multiplayer games, but it's still fun to like go in and kick stuff around in there, and the characters are cool. And I don't know, I don't know if I'm excited about Overwatch 2 or not, but I'll play it. I'll play it when it comes out. I mean,
it seems like they have an extensive single player portion to it. There's skill trees for the characters and progression along that. And I think that's more of what I want and what I would need to stay interested, because I'm not a big multiplayer guy at all. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
That's BlizzCon line. Yay.
That's about all, yeah, because I didn't pay attention to the WoW stuff because I'm not getting back into that.
Didn't even look at it.
No, can't do it. Can't do it.
Was that a defensive measure, Joel?
Yes. My friends have been trying to get me back into WoW for a while, and I told them, like, dude, I barely have enough hours to, like, game as it is. You think I'm going to jump back into WoW? No way. Can't do it.
You better be careful. Before you know it, Sean's going to buy you WoW. And just put it on your doorstep, and then that's all it takes.
No,
and you're back into it.
No, I mean, like I would have if I was like gonna play it, but I just don't have I'd be still in the starting area in the first couple levels or whatever.
You.
Like I just don't have the hours to dedicate to it, and I just jump back into Destiny too. And even then, I'm like struggling to get the dailies done and weeklies. I'm just like, this season pass is gonna go to waste. It's bad. Yeah, but
WoW's the game I was so addicted to Diablo 2 as a kid that I intentionally avoided WoW when it came out because I knew this would be a problem.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I've never touched WoW, not even
Ben-
once.
Ben knew he needed to leave the house at some point.
I was
right?
like, my wrist is gonna fall off. I can't do this.
Now it's coming back for the other wrist.
It is, dude. Getting old is great. That's it. That's BlizzCon line. Yay! News is over.
All right. Ben, we're moving on
Thank God.
to our favorite part of the show where we talk about the games that we played. Why don't we start off with our guests? Shawn, Ryan, why don't you guys tell us about the games that you played?
Ryan, do you want to go first?
Yeah,
We can-
might as well take up as much airtime as I can with this exhaustive list. I'm a very simple person. So the whole reason that I'm back into gaming at all, and it's been accelerated by the pandemic, clearly, because I have not been able to leave my house. You two may not know this about me, because I hide it so well. I'm an incredibly social, extroverted person, so I really miss being out and about with a whole bunch of people. And so naturally, multiplayer is where it's at for me, because the more people that I can interact with at any given time, that's what I want to do. I will admit, though, within the last 2 weeks, I actually played Halo for the first time since like the freshman year of college.
All right.
And it wasn't exhaustive when I used to play it, because I mean, I didn't have an Xbox because the controller was gigantic. It was like the power pad of controllers.
Mhm.
And so I didn't get behind it. I went PlayStation instead. And I can't remember like a game that I felt was moving so slowly because you play Apex Legends and you're just flying all over
Yeah.
the place.
That's
And
my
I kept
issue with
asking
it, too.
everyone, I was like, when can I sprint? And they're like, you
Like,
can't. We were
Never.
Ever.
Yeah.
In 10 years.
And then
It's
people
like,
get
I'm
mad
gonna
when you
come
want
get
it.
you. Ah!
Yeah.
It's hard
What?
to go back to that.
But it was a lot of fun for the purpose of it. Our friend Kate Zaid was playing it for a birthday or for a cosplay stream, and so invited us to play it, and that's why I got Shawn's via the mother-in-law Xbox One that she won in like some work raffle, and I fired it up for probably the 8th time in its life and played some
Nice.
Halo. So that's big news, I guess, that I'm catching up to the games that came out 20 years ago.
That's fine.
You're on a roll.
It
I
was
played
probably
Star
weird.
Tropics, which is like 30 years old. So
I mean, I still play Mario Kart on the Wii with my kids, right? Like, so that's kind of where we're at in terms of the gaming. I fell back in love with Apex probably in the last 2 seasons. You know, I had a really bad falling out with Apex because I couldn't get any better. I couldn't find people that I could play with who were tolerant of me. And so that's when Shawn said, well, we're going to go play COD. And we tried to get really good at Warzone, and then that didn't work very well. And at some point, I just started playing Apex again, and I still think that that's my favorite game that's out there still. My interest in that game has not waned one bit, and I think there's a lot of elements to that. You know, I play it usually at least once a week in the evenings with some friends of mine, and then starting this week, I'm actually joining some streamers off stream, but we're going to play ranked once or twice a week to actually try to go through the rankings.
Nice.
And I say that because I think there's an element of that game that the storytelling is so rich in a lot of ways that I haven't found in other places. Like I just saw the other day that Chun-Li is in Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
And like the skins and the crossover and stuff that Epic gets with that game, like that's cool. And the Fortnite events are amazing. Like the way that they pull it off in like the actual online space is amazing. But like the lore behind Apex is what really keeps me going with it, in addition to the fact that I still find the game tremendously fun.
Fun,
I also happen to have a whole bunch of people around me, other than Shawn, coincidentally, who play it, right?
We play it, so we'd be glad to add you to our
Totally.
friend list, and because it's crossplay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Poorly is fine with me. You know,
We're not great. We can't carry you. We
Well,
suck.
You'd be amazed what you can do when you're playing with me. But yeah, I mean, honestly, that's all I've really played. And then we play Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War primarily on our stream because, again, our whole thing is we're a radio show that plays games. So the games can't last too long. Apex kind of goes in that category sometimes where
It can, yeah.
the worst scenario is where you drop an Apex and you last maybe 4 minutes and then you drop again. And then that one actually takes the full 20 to get to the end. And then we've blown the clock and the radio
Runs everything off.
lingo, and so we don't play a lot of the BRs in the show. But COD Bach was great because we can play a multiplayer or Shawn again, and we really like Gunfight.
Yeah.
We can play those games and they fit the clock a lot better, but we can also do them a little reflexively. Plus, when you die, there's room to talk. Shawn and I tried to play Rocket League, and I think Mike was even around by the time that we tried to play that 3v3. And there's so much more concentration that we caught ourselves going into. We're like, this is not going to work for the show.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, but it's not going to work for the show. So we bailed on that. So that's all I've played. I'm dead serious. I play Apex Legends and then COD Bakwa on stream, and then that's
Nice.
the length of my list. So.
What are some of the main like types of games that you like to play generally? Like, is it mainly shooters? Have you thought about like trying out some other genres just to see if you like them, or is it mainly just shooters?
Yeah.
Like, kind of stick to what you know.
I think I'm in that category of if it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
Okay.
And so I'm just enjoying playing the shooter games in the BRs, because that's the other thing too, is like multiplayer doesn't really hold my attention a lot if it's not for the show, because it fits into the show, right? There's a purpose behind that. It gets really redundant, doing that over and over, where that hasn't happened for me with the BR genre. And I'm wondering too, when we're going to kind of hit that shift, because you talked about, Overwatch, right? Like Overwatch never went BR, right? It was just those multiplayer type games. And so I don't know if we're going to see something that comes out that disrupts things like the BR genre kind of did. And maybe that's on the horizon sooner than I think. But what I will say is it hasn't gotten tiresome for me, so I probably won't change. The one thing that was really fun, and I would do this in a heartbeat again, is Shawn and I played A Way Out. And you have to play that, Shawn, right? You had to play it on the same machine, right? Next to each other.
Couch co-op.
That was so fun. I would do that again in a heartbeat, even if it was a 4-player thing where you maybe had the LAN in order to do it or something like that. That was a tremendous experience, especially because, again, there was a pretty good story in that game. So I think you get me, Joel, with something that has some sort of storytelling element that's super social, right?
Okay.
And even watching some people play Stardew Valley recently, like, it seems like there's some social components to that game. I just don't know if the pace is enough to be able to keep my attention. Josh from IntelliGame just recently told me about a game that it's like more of a sword fighting game, and I'm going to totally look it up because I can't remember what it is and tell you what I remember.
I know which one you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
Because I think he said that it's the same kind of thing where like the game sessions last like maybe 20 minutes, and you're like a Viking or a knight.
Nidhogg. Is it Nidhogg?
What's it called?
Oh, Nidhogg or For Honor? Maybe For Honor.
For Honor. That was
Honor.
it.
Yeah, those are
think
very
it's-
different games.
I
but
think
yeah.
I heard Sword Fight, and then I thought of Nidhogg and Nidhogg 2, because it was like a party game kind of. But For Honor, I think For Honor's free to play, or was it just free to download at a certain point? But For Honor, I thought that would be cool for you guys to play on stream.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty
cool. And that's the kind of thing that, like, because Josh is interested in playing it, I'd probably want to get into it, because I'm again very much into what other people are wanting to do, and seeing how much fun it can be. That would be interesting. And then Digital Doc Games too, who's a great streamer on Twitch, who looks at like the way that video games promote health and healing, and have the power to contribute to one's betterment. He was playing like a Destruction Derby type game. It reminded me a lot of Twisted Metal, and I did have a lot of fun with that, because that's the same kind of thing, right? You have 8 people all together, or whatever the case may be. The game session's a little bit shorter, and then you just hit restart and you do it over again.
Yeah.
So I find a lot of those things interesting. Like, I can't even play a full season of Madden anymore, because it's primarily by yourself, and then by the time I get to like week 5, I don't get I don't stay interested anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not terribly complex when it comes to games, but I enjoy the ones that I'm playing right now immensely. Like, I'm so excited. It's not going to be Friday night going forward, because work's getting really hectic in the spring. It always does. But like back in the summer, like I will be ready to go like every Friday night. That I look forward to, and that's special, because it means something, right? It means that it's worth your time. But my list is not exhaustive, that's for sure.
I have those weeks.
Yeah, and I'm in a really weird place right now where, and I'm sure every streamer goes through this, especially early in their streaming career, where I'm starting to get more time to play games for myself. My wife just started a new job. She's commuting about an hour back and forth between home and work.
Oh wow.
I'm just getting more time to myself where I am getting a chance to play more games, and I've started thinking about games, and I'll like Resident Evil. I haven't played Resident Evil 7. And I'm like, I want to play that. But then I'm like, but I want to play that on stream. I'm going to save that for, GMS plays. And then think of another game as like, that'd be a good one to play on stream. I'm not going to play that right now. So I've just started to find a few games that I can play outside of streaming just for some downtime. And I put up a poll on my Twitter at one point. And I was like, I need a game for when I'm lying in bed to play on my Switch to just chill out. And Stardew Valley won that vote. And so I've gotten as far as downloading it. So I'll probably start that soon. But I've been playing Paper Mario. We got that for Christmas. My wife played through it. Now I'm starting to play through it. I just started Concrete Genie on PlayStation Plus free game. Probably looking to. I've gotten out of platinum in games for a while, and I think this one might draw me back in because I really like what I've played so far, and I hear the platinum's pretty attainable.
Yeah, Stardew Valley is a game that I put maybe I'm like 90 hours in on the Switch.
Mhm.
And it's one of those games that it starts off a little slow because it's kind of just introducing you to the mechanics of it. The deeper you get into that game, the weirder it gets. But it is so fun, man. I love that game. I think you'll really dig it. And it is one of those games that is kind of relaxing, but at the same time, it's kind of like, man, what is going on? And the more I do this, and the more I excel in the game, like and craft, and it's really cool. It's one of those games that like makes me think that Animal Crossing should have taken more from. Like you should have looked at Stardew Valley and added this because your game kind of falls short in these aspects. And yeah, I love Stardew Valley. I have it on PC, PS4, Switch. I mean, I'll rebuy the crap out of that thing.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it a little bit and just have something to lull myself to sleep at night.
Yeah, there you go. Cool. All right, Ben, I know you got like a laundry list of stuff here as always.
I don't necessarily. I'll be brief, I guess. I beat Resident Evil 5, really enjoyed it. Yay, okay, cool. I'm playing through these games for the lore because I'm that big of a Resident Evil fan. And I'm playing them chronological. So it goes Revelations 1, RE5, Revelations 2, RE6, then 7. And so I beat Revelations 2. I should mention, too, these games are like 8 hours long. It's not like I'm sitting here playing like 70-hour JRPGs every week. Revelations 2 is excellent. I think if you've played the RE2 remake or RE3 remake and you want another game like that, that's right up there. It might not be as polished as either of those games because they are very polished, but it is that same RE4-esque gameplay taken to a modern control scheme. And it has really cool story implications that are so nonsense and minor. Like there's like, oh, so and so's parents died in Terra Grigia, and that's a place that's referenced in it's fake place. It's mentioned in Revelations 1 as the place that's just they bomb from the sky with this solar thing because to kill all the virus people or whatever. And that's just a throwaway line of like, yeah, that happened. Okay. It's just a bunch of little lore things. So I've really enjoyed going back and playing those games and seeing all the lore. Because you gotta also remember there's Wesker, and Wesker was a clone, I think. And so there's another Wesker in this game. It's a whole lot of nonsense. I'm really into it. The deep end gets deeper and deeper the more you explore Resident Evil. It makes no sense. So I'm taking a break from that before I get to 6, because 6 is the one people are iffy on. I like it because I an idiot and I love everything Resident Evil. More relevant to current games, there was a free play weekend. What was it, Games with Gold weekend, whatever, for Fuser, the Harmonix DJ rhythm game, which is a really, really cool game that I will never play again. It's great. It's excellent. I don't really want to do this in a rhythm game. In the battle, I am on the Guitar Hero side. I'm not on the Rock Band side. Fuser is, if you had a hypothetical party during COVID, you could put this on a laptop and just set it to free play and have people come over and switch tracks. And it'd be so cool. And it's playing. And that's awesome. And the way they mixed all the tracks together is so smart. They kind of adjusted the BPM and make some of the tracks sound very weird, especially like vocal tracks that are iconic that you've heard a ton. It's, why is this stretched out slightly, like 1.15 speed? You know, this is weird. Why is it like that? And that doesn't work for me. But the gameplay is really cool and fun. It's nothing like actual. I mean, I'm not a DJ, but I guarantee you, this is nothing like being a DJ. The end result of you making an interesting song as a DJ and the game are the same, but like the route to get there, no way. I played the first kind of like stadium of the campaign. There's like 6 or so venues. That's the word. And then I got to the next one and I failed the first mission. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm good. Because you have to constantly start changing tracks and adding, like, I'm gonna put the bass line from this, I'm gonna put the vocal track from here, and doing it on the beat and all this stuff. And that's fun and cool. But you have to do it so often. If you were at a show where they changed vocal tracks every 30 seconds, you'd be like, that's weird. But then they're also changing the vocal track and then adding this other thing and adding this and adding this. Like, this is just noise. And I can't even enjoy what I'm listening to, which is sometimes super cool. Like, you'll stumble upon to things like, wow, those 4 songs go together so well. I love this. But the audience is like real upset and they want to hear a country vocal right now.
Yep.
Or this guy's like real into play a guitar. Like, no, this is my set.
Want to.
You know, like,
do you battle other people?
Could you? So Josh from IntelliGame Wallstorm was playing this the other day. Raised like over $4,000 for Player versus Hunger as part of a fundraiser for Texas, which was really neat.
Nice.
And he had been playing Fuser a long time. Shawn and I have an IRL friend, Carl, who is one of the guys who will go to EDM shows. Like, that's how he spends his time and money, is going to festivals and all this stuff.
mm-hmm.
And Carl's not much of a video game person. He watched Josh play this game for hours. And I actually kind of found that to be fascinating because I enjoyed watching someone play this game. And I don't know if it's as much fun. Like, you talked about that party element. That would be a perfect use case for this game, which was what made, like, you know, Rock Band and even actually Rock Band more so than Guitar Hero, because you could have all the people, you know, playing it together and then switching up. I want to sing this time and all that stuff. But point being is, like, the prep that Josh put into figuring out, okay, what songs do I kind of want to mix together? That's something I would never expected either. Is like, I want to mix these songs together, which in turn would make me super pissed when the audience person's like, yeah, could you play a country lyric? No, I spent 20 minutes picking Whitney Houston and Carly Rae Jepsen and Nelly for a purpose.
Yeah, I want to push it real good for the next 20 minutes as I listen to this.
Does it have like a free
there is
play
like
mode
a
where you
free
get
play
to choose your stuff? Or like where you can just play whatever you want?
So you'll have like, I didn't count how many, but it unlocks more slots as you go. But I think I had maybe 10 to 12 songs loaded up on my MP3 player or whatever the hell I'm doing at this show. And I could start picking them, and you start like, drop the this, drop the that, put that here, and you can mix things. You can have 2 vocal tracks playing. It starts adding in elements of kind of like the perfect, I don't know what they call it, but the perfect spot to drop this type of, like, this bass line here fits perfectly and this vocal track fits perfectly here. And that's really fun and cool. I don't really want to do that. I just kind of want to play around with music.
Yeah.
And for that, that's just the free play mode. And that sounds awesome. So if you're into that, yeah. But as a campaign, like, I'm a big rhythm game fan. I recently got back my 360 from my dad so that I could play the Guitar Hero games. and
Nah, did you
I'm
just
very
give it
excited to
to
start
him?
doing that.
Man,
I have. I'll
Sean,
tell you, the day I realized I lost my Guitar Hero Van Halen, I was legitimately sad. I was legitimately bummed out for the rest of the day. I lost Guitar Hero Van Halen.
uh,
I mean, come on.
Sean and I have been talking about having a rock band night for a very long time. Coincidentally, using Carl's Xbox 360 that's behind my curtain over here. It's all here, but we've talked about playing it. But I think it's hard because we'd want to play it after the kids go to bed, and all you're going to hear is
Oh,
people just banging on things. So they're going to wake everybody up. I just now envision this moment where like Carl's going to go to his first show post pandemic, and he's gonna yell out to the to Dead Mouse or something, be like, "Play a country lyric."
country lyric.
Dead Mouse will be like, "Oh, okay."
I want a song from the 2000s. Like, that's what they say in the game.
I know.
It's so stupid though. Like, the point of that too, like with the campaign of it, it's so antithetical to what a DJ set would be.
Yeah.
It's very strange to me. I don't know. It's
a
fun.
fun game. Yeah,
it's a fun game though. It's just like mechanically and as a campaign, it's nonsensical.
I'm gonna have
But
to
man,
check out
you can
the
make
game. I haven't seen any of it.
it's
like,
some
missed
cool
out.
tracks you can make. It's really cool.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm never gonna play it.
Wonderwall.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, right? It's like, this is a neat idea. And then, so you beat like the first 5 or so missions, and then it tells you, hey, now you're gonna have to start switching things out more, or the audience is gonna get mad. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that though.
Maybe it's a case where it's like this is a game that was made by people who've never been to a venue. Right? And it's like, oh no, they always, you should see them on TV. They're always switching
It's
the
like,
records out and stuff.
It's made by people who've yelled at DJs.
It's right. This is the experience I've had at all the shows I've been to. Like, no, you're just an asshole. Like,
my
Oh,
goodness.
you're the guy.
yeah. It's you. To be fair, there is a no fail option, like in the menu right at the start. Don't have to just pause the game and put no fail on. And I guess you could do that. I don't know. And but then I feel like the bar is gonna be really low, and it's just gonna be like, we don't like you, but you're still here. So you won't leave.
You don't know, but the virtual crowd's just blocked in. They can't leave. Like
They
they would
can't
want
leave.
to,
Oh,
but
yeah,
all the
they want
exits are
to.
sealed off.
I
Fire
did turn
marshals are very
down.
upset.
There's like an audio setting for the crowd. Like, you guys are really loud. Like, I'm here for the music. Shut up. I don't need to hear it to cheering.
When Ben finally gets into DJing, he's gonna have all of his equipment set up but never leave the house. He's like, "This is for me."
This is cool.
Screw you.
Yeah, that's what I tell people about me making jokes. I'm like, these jokes are for me. If you happen to enjoy them, that's great. But they're for me. I'm making these at my expense, at your expense, for me. You just happen to be here. You're set dressing for my enjoyment. Yeah. Or I'll go to the DJ set like, everyone be quiet. Everyone be quiet. I'm gonna play my music now. No moving. No dancing.
People start enjoying it. You just plug in headphones and cut off the
I'm
music.
like, what did I say? What did I say?
4th row, 3rd from the left. You're out of
Like,
here.
Get out. Get him out.
Maybe your venue is like blending DJ music, EDM type music, with like the opera or golf,
Oh yeah.
where you get
Gotta
the
be
silence.
proper.
That's another problem with the game where, like, oh yeah, I want to hear a country next to Satisfaction or something. Like, this is just weird. I don't want these songs mixing. Or there's one of the first songs is Killing in the Name of. I'm like, I love that song. I don't want this song here. It doesn't need to be here.
It's a weird
It's
mix
just
having
so-
a Rage Against the Machine. in
It's
there.
very strange. And they put the lyrics for it, and it's slowed down, like I mentioned earlier, the pitch or whatever. It's modulated in some way to match the BPM for all the songs. And it's just like so strange.
Hmm.
And you'll switch to like I mentioned, Satisfaction. Forget who does it. I'm really bad at remembering artists' names.
You're talking about like the
But-
Rolling Stones?
No. I'm talking about that. It's like that robot voice. Satisfaction. You've heard
Yeah,
it.
it was
You've
not
heard
the
this
Rolling
song.
Stones.
Not
Unless
the Rolling Stones.
unless is Mick like a cyborg or something now?
It's I can't do it because it is an
Is it-
EDM whatever. But
well-
there's a part of that song that is
Just make the Splatoon sound or whatever again.
Splatoon. It's just but there's a part of that song that's just Satisfaction repeated over and over, and you'll switch to that vocal track, and all of a sudden, satisfaction, satisfaction, satisfaction. It's like, what's happening?
There's a few. There's one
it's
by
so
Devo.
bizarre.
There's one by.
It's Benny Benassi. I want to guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's that one as well.
You've heard this song. You've 100%
I'm
heard
not
this
going to
song.
be able to go to bed tonight. All I'm going to hear is satisfaction.
Satisfaction.
I've definitely heard it.
Satisfaction. Go
All right,
look
Ben,
it up, Joel.
What other
Play it
game
after
have you
the
played?
show.
It is Benny Benassi. Yeah, it is that one.
Thank you.
And The Biz.
It's a great song. Not that part, just the vocal tracks. 3D World, Mario 3D World. I played through most of the main campaign. It's really good. Played on Wii U. Love it. Yay.
Is this a GameFly
Then-
rental?
This is GameFly.
GameFly.
Yeah, my GameFly plug of the week. Back on the GameFly train. I wanted to beat the game and do all that. I'm not gonna 100% it because that's annoying. And I did it on the Wii U, and you unlock the final level, and it was super hard, and I just gave up. It's like, well, that was a waste of my time. I didn't even like this level.
Oh, that's sad.
So I'm not doing that again. I learned my lesson. But I went to Bowser's Fury last night, played about 3 hours of it because it's so good. It is just a 3D, more like Mario 64 or Mario Odyssey. It's so fun. It is just that perfect Nintendo joy of going to an island, collecting the 5 things. Oh, there's another hidden objective here. Oh, let me find that. Then you come back to the island and find all the blue coins. It's so perfectly paced. Bowser popping up every 10 minutes is a little annoying, but it also makes it really cool when you're about to start a mission to collect these coins and Bowser shows up and now you're ice skating as there's fire everywhere and you're collecting the coins. Like, yeah, get out of the way, Bowser. That's awesome. That's super cool. And I really, really love it. I think that game might be in the end of the year on my top 10 list of the games I play. I play a lot of shit.
God.
It's so good.
He does play
It's
a lot.
so much fun. Oh my god! And if you've never played 3D World, that game's great too. Especially multiplayer is really fun. Not that I'd know what that's like. And then
Wow, sad. You said that really sadly.
I know. That was intentional. The jokes are for me. I told you. And if you haven't played that plus Bowser's Fury is a wonderful package. Bowser's Fury, from what I understand, is like a 6 hour, maybe 8 hours to 100% it. I love it. It's so good. I can't wait to play more of it. It
Cool.
sucks that it's shorter. I would say it's better than Odyssey. The problem is
Whoa.
that it's so short, right? It's a much smaller experience, but the way they do things is just as good as Odyssey. And I think they have such a fun loop with it. It feels more like Mario 64 than Odyssey does. Odyssey is, I love Odyssey, but it goes a little off the deep end where, oh, you found a circle, you get a shine. All right. Hey, did you know you can dive in this game? You got a shine.
Yeah.
All right, let's tone it. You did 3 triple jumps in a row. Like, all right, like let's tone it down.
Constant
this
rewards. This is great.
I got enough rewards. Okay.
All right.
This kind of has a better pacing on that end. As much as I love that game, it's great. Love it.
That's good. I really
That's
want
it.
to
I
try
haven't
that
played
game.
anything else. I probably did play something else, but I forgot about it.
Apex Legends. You played that.
We mentioned that already, yeah. But yeah, I did play that.
Yeah, I mean, I covered that, Joel.
Yeah, we
That's
did that
come on
already,
now.
Joel. God.
All right.
But I'm just saying, you did play
Jeez.
other things.
I mean, let me have my one.
And I
moment.
played Fuser, so let me tell you about this game. It's,
No more. All right. Well, I played a lot of Destiny 2 this week. The new season came out. They launched this thing called Battlegrounds, which is basically just like, I don't know. It's just a ton of like different enemies in
Battlegrounds?
one area. You clear them out. You go to another objective, and it's just a lot of enemies again. You clear them out. Then you go to one more area. You clear them out, and then there's one boss, and then you get rewarded with like a ton of items. And it's just like another layer of their season pass. And the whole point of it is like complete these quests, and you get a little more story that they're adding on, which is cool because they're not doing like a full expansion, because they came out with Beyond Light however long ago it came out. So instead of them doing another expansion, they're just doing these season passes. And so each season pass comes out with like new game modes and new story content. So that's been pretty cool to kind of like play through. There's a whole lot of other stuff of Destiny that I have no idea what it's about, because I stopped playing before Forsaken came out. I started up Destiny 2 and realized, wow, I missed out on like 2 years of content, and I'm not going to learn about it. I'm just going to play what's new, and I've been having a good time. Been playing Crucible, which is like their PvP stuff, which is really fun. Been playing a lot of Gambit, which is kind of like their PvP, PvE stuff. So you basically play and fight a ton of enemies to score points, and the more points you score, the more enemies it throws at the other team. And so you're trying to just outscore them until you guys hit 100. Once you hit 100, you summon a boss, and then the first person to beat their boss wins. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of like you're playing dodgeball in a way. Because if you spawn, like the more motes that you throw in your basket, it spawns enemies on their side that basically take away their points. So the whole point is like, I want to score as many as I can so that I can spawn stuff on their side that takes away their points. So it's fun. If you guys like multiplayer stuff, it's a good game. Plus PvE stuff too. It's pretty fun. And gear and loot and stuff. And Destiny 2 is trying to take away all the hours I have, but it's pretty fun. There was a game that I started playing probably a couple weeks ago that I got from Pop Agenda. So if you guys know Pop Agenda, they are like a PR company for indie games. And this game is called Nuts. And it's an indie game where you basically...
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Don't tell me too much.
Oh, are you playing?
Sean, I want to discover these nuts for myself.
Yes. Sean's going to play Nuts.
Okay, I won't spoil it.
Because did you watch the trailer before you played it?
No, I didn't.
So Sean showed me the trailer because wasn't this one of the Name of the Mornings?
I think
it
might have been.
It must
Yeah,
have been, because that's how I heard about it.
Because Sean showed me the trailer, and like when they finally say something like, "Isn't it strange how our research is so well funded for just taking pictures of squirrels?"
Yeah,
and then like they foreshadowed to something where it's like, "I bet you're wondering how this all ends," or something along those lines. And I'm like, that is great. What a great concept. So yes, don't spoil.
That definitely falls into the category. I have it all ready to go, but it's definitely a game where it's like, I really want to play this, but I really want to play it on stream. So there it sits.
So I finished it, and I won't spoil anything. I won't even give you like my overall rating of it. It has an unexpected ending, but overall I enjoyed the game. It makes you care about squirrels too much, I'd say, unexpectedly.
Too much.
But the ending does leave you a little bit like, what the hell just happened? And I love that about it. I think it's a little overpriced for how long it is, because it is a little short. But that's also kind of nice, because I'm like, damn, I finished it. I finished the game.
Joel had long ago a moment where he made a threshold for how much he would care about certain wildlife. And squirrels, he was like, this is my max.
Oh man,
This is it.
Nuts made him try to exceed that, and he wasn't okay with that.
Now, I grew up in Southern California. I grew up in Anaheim, and seeing squirrels was a little bit of a rarity because you just didn't see them that much.
Really?
You see them every now and then, like, oh, cool, a squirrel. I lived in Idaho for like 12 years now, and I see them all the time. They get ran over in the street. They're everywhere. So now, like, my threshold has gone very much low.
I'll tell you my squirrel story. We had so many squirrels. We had a neighbor. I lived in Idaho, growing up, like high school. And we had a neighbor that would feed them peanuts. And they don't really eat the peanuts. They just bury the peanuts in your yard. And my dad at one point started catching the squirrels and relocating them to the park.
By
and
chucking
he
them
did
out
it
of
to like
his
100 squirrels.
Oh my god.
Wait,
And
did your dad make the game Nuts?
he might have.
Pretty much like the
It
plot.
might have been based on his life. I don't know. Biographical.
So where your dad has like a check for all this research and money that he got.
Yeah. He eventually was like wondering if they were coming back. So I think he died. He got like spray paint that was safe for squirrels, and he sprayed the tail of the squirrel.
No, he said he started worrying they were coming back, and then he died or something like that. I was
Oh,
like,
that
"No!"
died the squirrel. Died
Oh,
the squirrel, died the
CYED.
squirrel,
Okay,
yeah,
all right. We're
Oh my god.
yeah.
well, that's a game in and of itself.
I'll just never forget like this. What are you doing? And I'm just like, just do your squirrel thing, man. Take the squirrel, capture him, get a cage. It's like a cage for a cat or something. He's catching squirrels.
I mean,
Nonsense.
Shawn is a woodworker as well. And while this doesn't really fall into the category of impressive woodworking, one day I was scrolling the Instagram feed and someone had made a picnic table for a squirrel,
Oh.
hung it on the fence.
Oh.
And so, or did you send me that actually? Didn't you send me that, Shawn?
I think I sent it to you, and you're like, I like that. I want one of those.
And sure enough, like 3 days later, here shows up this little squirrel picnic table. And sure enough, we started putting nuts out there, and the next day,
No.
they're gone. But then they started leaving the shells.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so you expect me to? I thought this was bust your own table.
You got to
Bust
put a
your
little
own
dumpster
table.
out there.
Bust your own table. And apparently they didn't listen. Have you seen is it Mark Rober who does like the cool engineering YouTube videos? Is that Mark's last name? I think it's something in that vein.
Oh,
But he had
yeah.
the squirrel obstacle course.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. I saw him do the
Oh.
giant, like, he does like the glitter bombs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw him do the giant, like, foam, like he tried to do break the world record or whatever, the Guinness World Record that shoots it as high. I don't know. He did one. Yeah. He's cool. He does
Watch
some
the
crazy
squirrel
stuff.
obstacle course. It's both entertaining from like, I assume a science standpoint is how you would categorize it, but then also just for a video. It's very good in both realms.
Interesting. But yeah, I like the game. I think you'll enjoy it. It's short enough to where you're kind of like, once you get through, you're kind of like, that was an odd experience. I don't know, like I had a good time playing it. Nuts. It was nuts. I wouldn't
It
say
took me a
nuts.
long time to resist saying that this
Yeah.
entire time.
But yeah, I'll move on. So, another game I played. I don't want to talk too much about it because I still want to play more of it. But Cyberpunk 2077. So obviously, I'm enjoying the game, so I'm not playing it on PS4. I'm playing it on my PC.
Has there been any issues with it on PS4?
So I've only had really one issue.
I haven't heard of this.
Ryan, what did you do?
I know, right? I've only had one issue with it, and it's that I spawned my car and it wound up on the inside of another car.
I told you about that. Happened to me
yeah,
last
which-
As cars do.
Yeah,
That's
which
one car.
which it fits
That's a
itself
feature.
though.
Gotcha rules.
It almost gave birth to the car it wound up inside of in, so
Whoa.
it was pretty cool.
Did
It
it
just
blow
kind of like
up?
shot it out of the front.
My car blew up when that happened.
Oh, mine just like gave birth to it.
In the game or in real life?
Cyberpunk hasn't transcended reality yet, so no.
Not yet, but
Still in the game.
yeah, I'm still like in the first part of the game. I'm maybe like 4 hours in, so there's still a lot to go before I get really into it because I think it's like maybe hour 9, depending on what I'm doing. But just from what I've heard, but the game like blew me away right off the bat. Like it just feels like I'm in Blade Runner, and I mean it looks so good, and the mechanics of it are really cool. The intro to how the game works is really cool. I mean, it's just like what I felt playing the game when I first started playing it and experiencing it. I haven't felt anything like that since Half-Life 2 when I first started playing Half-Life 2, and I mean it's been a long time. So, but I was just kind of blown away. And I was kind of like almost afraid to do anything in the game because I didn't know how characters were gonna react. And now that I've played a little more of it, I'm like, okay, they're reacting just like other video game characters do nowadays. But at first, I was just kind of like, wow, this is a weird feeling playing this game, and everything feels so new. Now that I'm playing it, I'm like, wow, this is just a really like cool Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Not entirely, but like if only Bethesda could make it, a shooter this good in a way. But yeah, it's I hope I'm gonna definitely continue playing it, and I'm still kind of taking it slow, not really like blasting through the main story. I'm just kind of doing side missions and kind of exploring the world a little bit, but there's a lot to it, and I'm enjoying using the katana blade and just like slicing fools up. It's been pretty cool. Yeah. And that's about it. That's all the games I've been really focusing on.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Next.
It is nuts.
It's nuts. Yeah, there's another game. I also just got a code for that I'll be playing this week and then talking about it next week. Also from Pop Agenda, showing us love for content.
Yay!
Nice.
Yay! Jingle bells. Cool. All right. Ben.
I was gonna keep doing it till you say something, Joel, and you just don't say anything.
I was
All right.
too busy watching you do that.
I guess I'll just do this for the rest of my life.
That was the last show that Ben ever had the webcam on for.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's nice. You should have it on next week too.
I'll put it up on not a piece of foam.
All right.
I like the aesthetic.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got that kind of Dutch angle. Yeah. I got a
The room is
foreground
so
background.
deep.
It kind of looks like it's there, but you don't know it's there. Like only we
this
know
is a
it's
spy
there.
cam.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're using your neighbor's webcam, but
They're using it, and this is the feed they're feeding to you.
It's their security cam footage. It's just from their Ring video.
Supply you that footage.
Cool. Well, anything you guys want to talk about? Anything you guys want to like plug? Like your show? Anything you guys got coming up? I don't know, anything big?
I mean, we always have the spiel ready to go. I mean, the best thing about Gaming Morning Show is that is going to be the core, right? Everything else that we do is going to be an add-on, supplemental to that. But we're Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Pacific time. And my favorite thing that we've been doing, in addition to having Mike join us now, because Mike's on at least 4 days a week, at least 3 days a week, usually 4 days a week now, is we wanted the show to have multiple voices, and we're still working toward that. Eventually, you'll see Gaming Morning Show probably have maybe 4 hosts per show every single show. We wanted to kind of have more of that Howard Stern type vibe where there's a whole bunch of characters that you get to know, right? But that said, one of the best things that we do is the interviews, and whether it's a traditional interview that lasts 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, or our 5 questions segment, that is what I think we enjoy a lot, is bringing in people who, we were talking about this actually right before we got on the podcast because we had dinner together. Shawn, you said something about like, it's enough to get people interested, and then they start finding more about the people that we have on the show. And that's kind of my dream, is to have the focus be on as many other people as it possibly can be.
Yeah,
for sure. And I don't think we've had a single interview or even someone on Playing 5 Questions where we've finished it and it's like, yep, I don't have anything else I want to learn from this person. There's always, every interview we could just segue into doing a full, hour-long podcast with people, because, people are out there doing really cool stuff, and it's fun getting to share that. And that I think they'll always be the backbone of our flagship program, GMS. And then, extra projects from there. I think we have some experimentation that we want to do with certain things, whether it's, more traditional streaming. I am going to, start streaming some single player type games under the GMS banner. We've talked about, second shows, specials. We want to do, a longer form, charity stream at some point, those sort of things. And something we've done a few times, and the next one will be this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right? Is GMS Plays, where we get together with members of the community and we play games all together. This week we're going to do Prop Hunt in Call of Duty. We've done Jackbox games in the past, and that's a great way to kind of get out of the normal form of our show, break out from that a little bit, and just hang out and have a good time.
Yeah. Our friend Nintendo Nerds, who has a really great show on Twitch as well, bringing a whole bunch of the crew over to play that, and then we're going to play with the community. And because your podcast comes out, that's worth mentioning. It'll be Wednesday night at 8:00 Pacific time. So,
Nice.
it's just been a fun ride. We've been super lucky to have some people find us pretty early on, where we had a 3 to 5 year outlook on what we were trying to do with this, and it's kind of cool to have that feeling that you're a little ahead of schedule, but that can change in the instant. But the nice thing is we're having fun doing it, and if people are along with us for it, like you mentioned, getting up and getting coffee and maybe even just listening to it, that's kind of the fun part about having a radio show that has a video element, is we want people to be able to listen to it while they're commuting to work and still feel like they're getting the full experience, whether or not they ever watch as opposed to just listen.
Yeah.
Or interact. Like the dream of the show is, a year from now, someone reaches out to us. They're like, "Hey, I've listened to you on my way to work every day of the week for the last 6 months, and I love you guys." We're like, "We have no idea who you are. where did you come from?" Like, and that's not the traditional streaming model. And obviously, we are going to have people in the community we know really well, but we're hoping to build this, group of people that tune in every day or multiple times in the week and get something out of it, even if it's just killing some time, in your mornings at work or while you're getting ready for work, or theoretically people will go to work again sometime, driving to work, that you're not necessarily involved, but you're still listening and tuning in and enjoying what we're doing.
And I'll close with this. The other thing that's been really neat for me, because this has been super helpful to my psyche over the course of the pandemic, because I am so eager to get back to social extroversion and rich activities out of the house that those where those exist, is Kiki Low, Copia, a lot of other people who we've met. It's been neat because I'm gonna be playing games 4 a.m. this week Pacific time with somebody I met through streaming who's in the UK, right? And I don't know if that would have ever happened in any other circumstance, because we've been lucky to meet people through the show, and you two are closer, right? But point being, like, I might take a trip in the near future and be able to meet people that I would have never otherwise met had it not been for streaming. And that has been a super great outcome that I didn't really expect and never would have thought that would happen. And I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, I think that's always something I appreciate about video games in general, how you can meet people through it. Like when I joined Game Fanatics, I didn't know Ben. I didn't know our friend Logan at all. Like, him and I met through Game Fanatics. We started podcasting kind of through there. And then we would do the Game Fanatics original podcast. And then we did Ben's podcast that he had. And then we did another version of kind of what we were doing now, but with other people. And then Ben and I decided to do this because we were like, you know what? We always kind of have a good flow going. So why don't we just do our own? Because we just always itching a podcast. And then our friend Logan joins us every now and then. Logan lives pretty close to me. But him and Ben knew each other. Did you guys grow up together a little bit? Or
yeah, we went to high school together.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like a weird kind of small world thing. And, but I'm like, we met Odell through the Game Fanatics, and Odell's, everywhere. Like, he's been everywhere. Basically, he's been on like all these different podcasts. He worked for Game Informer, and we've had him on the show before as well. We met Julian through Game Fanatics. I mean, it's cool how you kind of just meet interesting people through this. So yeah, it's cool. I love it. I mean, I definitely am not very social in my like real life, so this is like the only way I'm really social. So
well,
nice.
Thank you for reaching out to us and inviting us to join you. The Game Fanatics is a website that I really gravitated toward because it looked like it had such a great group of people with a lot of varying interests from a lot of varying backgrounds. And that was really impressive to me. And I've listened to Final Checkpoint quite a bit. It's one of my go-to podcasts now.
Thank you.
Full Circle I listen to as well with Odell, and the conversations that y'all have, the insight you have, the funniness. Ben, you say that they're for you, but they are pretty funny.
Yeah, they're for me. I'm taking them back.
All right, sorry.
I have to go edit them out of the podcast.
You know what?
Great.
Rent to own.
Are you the Gamefly of jokes?
Yeah, no one gives a shit.
You can laugh, Ryan, but don't laugh too much, because don't laugh more than he's laughing.
Right.
We all know rent.
Yeah, it's just really neat when you said you wanted to talk kind of about the origin and stuff. We're having a blast, and so thank you for giving us some time and letting us hang out with you and highlight how much video game knowledge that Shawn has that I definitely don't.
Hey, I'm right there with you, man. Ben outshines me in game knowledge all the time. I'm just here for the ride.
Just like nothing sticks in my head except for useless information. So that's what it is.
I'm
Names,
like that
faces,
with like TV knowledge for some reason. We'd be great at like Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune, whichever one of those needs it.
We can do a final checkpoint GMS Family Feud.
Oh, I'm down. I love Family Feud.
There we go.
We could win
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it'd be fun to do a game night or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should do something
Be
like that.
terrible at Apex, yeah.
I'm down for some Apex though. Well, we need something with 4 slots though.
No, it's all right. Shawn's not going to play Apex, so we're good.
Okay, all right.
Oh no, maybe for them I'll play.
Oh, shut up.
I got my camera for you.
All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Thanks again, Shawn, Ryan, Gaming Morning Show, for joining us again here on the Final Checkpoint. Be glad to have you guys back on very soon. I'm excited to see what else you guys do. We're trying out like doing a Dark Souls stream every Saturday. We didn't do it this Saturday because I had a ton of stuff to do, but we're getting through that. And then I think our next game on the docket's going to be Resident Evil 7 because I've never played through it. So Ben's going to yell at me while I play through that, like he's been yelling at me through playing Dark Souls.
My advice is terrible.
After having to go back and find the rusted ring, I realized, wow, Ben, would have been great to have this.
I could have. You didn't ask for it.
You're supposed to guide me.
What? To beat the whole game real quick? Hey, just run past this. It doesn't matter. Run like
No,
no.
you're
You
supposed
gotta
to get me the
experience
ring
it.
I need for that muddy area down there where all the poison's at.
I mean, how many times did the person from Ready Player One go forward in the race and all they had to do was go backwards? I mean,
Oh my god,
That's true.
sorry.
I hate that book. The movie is fine.
The book was great.
I've looked at that Amazon preview of that book and I read it and I want to throw up. It is written so annoyingly. That main character is obnoxious.
That's why you just watch
just
the
a
movie
constant-
like I did and skip the reading.
Exactly.
part.
But it's just a constant list of like, hey, I know some things. I know some things. How about these things? What about more things? Things. I'm like, this guy needs to shut up. You're the main character. Shut up. I hate it. Oh my god.
So sorry I brought up Ready Player One. That was my
jeez.
That's a
That's
faux pas. Don't bring that
That's on me.
up.
Ben doesn't read anyways.
I want to do a dramatic reading of that book, and it's just every 2 lines. I'm like, why would you even write that? This is stupid. And then it's the next line. I'm like, this is dumb too. That's the whole book. That's it.
All right. Make sure you
That's
guys are
it.
following us on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, iTunes, or I guess it's, iTunes Podcast, Apple
that's me.
Podcasts. I don't know what they call it over there. I should know.
Apple
Or
something.
the GameFanatics.com. You
Yeah.
can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Final Check Pod. Pregnant pause.
I played a game called Fuser, and
No.
it,
Oh, jeez. All right. And
It
don't
was
forget
nuts.
to follow twitch.tv/LoadLastCheckpoint. Help us hit our 150 follower goal so you can watch me play Dark Souls drunk. Maybe we'll be at Dark Souls 2 by that point. I'll
We
get
will
drunk
not.
playing that. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, we'll be back next week. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
bye.
Bye.